Genomic analysis reveals that missing one night of sleep triggers a real-time shift in the expression of hundreds of individual genes. Throughout the day, every active neuron in your brain burns energy and creates metabolic byproducts. Without a period of rest, this toxic waste accumulates, causing your neural circuits to become physically overloaded and cluttered with microscopic debris. Your brain manages this through an offline mode. During sleep, the glymphatic system sweeps a wave of cerebrospinal fluid through your brain tissue, flushing away metabolic sludge and downscaling overactive synapses to maintain a healthy baseline. Without this essential cleaning cycle, the brain begins to drown in its own toxic byproducts, disrupting the very foundation of cognitive function. This chart shows that after 24 hours of wakefulness, your cognitive impairment reaches 0.10%, a level exceeding the legal limit for driving. At this threshold, the brain attempts to conserve dwindling energy through a desperate survival mechanism called local sleep. Isolated clusters of neurons shut down completely during local sleep, even as the rest of the brain remains illuminated and active. While you may appear walking and talking, significant portions of your cortex are already dead asleep, leaving you in a functionally fragmented state. At 36 hours, the collapse reaches your executive systems, your working memory fails, and your ability to process logic or social cues rapidly deteriorates. The physical connection between the amygdala, the brain's emotional engine, and the medial prefrontal cortex begins to sever. Without this regulatory link, your emotions become volatile and your stress responses increasingly reactive. In this diagram, sleep loss hinders NMDA receptor function on the left, blocking the calcium influx needed to form memories. On the right, broken mTOR signaling creates anosognosia, a feedback failure where the brain cannot recognize its own impairment. The brain has now moved past the point of simple fatigue, entering a state of structural failure in the systems required for rational thought. Beyond the 48-hour mark, the damage cascades from the brain into the core of your metabolism and cardiovascular system. Your hunger hormones undergo an aggressive shift. Leptin, which signals fullness, plummets, while ghrelin, which signals hunger, spikes. Your body is now in a state of perceived starvation. To sustain consciousness, your heart undergoes intense shear stress as blood pressure rises and your sympathetic nervous system triggers repeated surges of adrenaline. Sleep loss activates the NF-kappa B genetic pathway, a master regulator of inflammation. This floods your system with pro-inflammatory cytokines, triggering widespread systemic stress. At 48 hours, the subject's DNA has rewritten its own expression to prepare for a biological war the body cannot win. 72 hours brings a total breakdown of reality monitoring. You enter a state of hypervigilance, interrupted only by involuntary, elongated microsleeps that pull you toward unconsciousness. 72 hours of wakefulness results in complex hallucinations, acute psychosis, and a total distortion of the perceived physical environment. The ultimate danger of this condition is seen in cases of fatal familial insomnia, where the total inability to sleep leads to progressive dementia, systemic organ failure, and death. By this threshold, the individual's original personality is gone, replaced by a waking ghost trapped in a biological nightmare. While this damage is severe, it is reversible, though the body cannot repair itself through a single afternoon nap. This graph illustrates the accumulation of sleep debt. While the line spikes upward after just one night, it requires multiple consecutive nights of restorative sleep to gradually return to baseline and repair the cellular damage. Recovery requires a strict, consistent schedule and exposure to morning light to reset the circadian rhythm, allowing the brain to finally clear the genetic and metabolic debt. Sleep is the non-negotiable pillar of your survival. Look at the clock. What will your brain do tonight?